Birthday girl Roseanne Barr is on with us. Hey, Roseanne.
Hi, Glenn. How you doing?
Good. How was your birthday yesterday?
It was fantastic. It was a great birthday. I had all my kids. It was just great. All my kids and 7 of my 10 grandkids.
Jeez.
And we had a lovely karaoke party, and everybody was really on it. It was great.
Yeah, that's great. So you're the queen of the garbage people. How are you feeling?
Oh, I am. I just am feeling royal.
Yeah. I bet you are.
Yeah, it was the greatest. Sometimes, I think I told you before, sometimes I wonder if that Biden, well, first I think it's Jim Carrey in a mask, but that Biden guy, he is the gift that keeps on giving, isn't he?
Oh, my gosh. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Even Saturday Night Live did something on that while they, did an ad campaign for Kamala. Did you see that on Saturday by any chance?
No.
Oh,
I can't stay up that late.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. No, they just did this advertising campaign. I mean, one of the FCC commissioners came out and said this was a clear violation. It was honestly the open. It started with every lie about Donald Trump. I'm trying to kill Liz Cheney and all of this stuff. And then Kamala Harris was actually on. Not funny, but actually on it, doing
Wow.
a very pro, hey, I'm the change person, which is just bizarre. Yeah. Just bizarre.
Yeah, the change person that's done nothing in 4 years.
Yeah. So, Roseanne, when you were on TV, we've talked about this. When you were on TV, ABC did not want you to do, didn't want you to have anybody that was a Trump supporter, and you thought, well, that's exactly what would be going on around this table. Somebody has to do it, and when
annexation when they asked me to come back, and they wanted to hear my ideas. Of course, I went out to lunch with Bob Iger at a really lovely place there in Beverly Hills. I can't remember the name, but it was good. And I told him, I want to bridge the divide because I thought it was so. Well, the reason I said I would do it is because I felt our country was in peril and that my voice could be useful in reminding people that, we don't all have to think exactly alike, because this is a free country where we have liberty and freedom of speech. And that was what I felt like was being compromised, and I was scared. So I came back for that, and I told Bob Iger I intend to show a Trump hater and a Hillary hater in the same family, but they still love each other, They still love each other because they're family. And, everybody loved that at first till it happened. And I guess these people, they're in weird positions, like their publicists. Those are real censors. And once they got the publicists in there, and then they start, you start getting the writers. And I wanted the writers from my original show because they knew me, so I got a lot of them. And I got Tom Warner. He hired one of these woke. He hired a few wokes to come on there, and I felt like, well, you've got to include them because they're a voice in the whole apparatus too. But the way the woke beat everybody in the writers' room down, it was hard to go in there, but I still did it because I'm like, well, this show's for the viewer, not for the writers,
So did you didn't know that it would turn out the way it did. Is that what turned you into such a Trump supporter?
Well, because I ran for president in 2012, and a lot of the ideas that I had, Trump started talking about in 2015, and my narcissism kicked in as well as, my joy that somebody else could see we have the ability to solve every problem that plagues our nation.
Yeah.
and that it should be done. And so, I loved his thinking. I could see that it was very visionary and, ultimately very healing. It made an us out of everyone in our country rather than an us and them, like the panderers are making money selling, because it is us.
Do you find it, I find it almost, I mean, honestly, I find it hard to believe that this election is this close with everything that has gone wrong in this administration.
I know.
I mean, what is it that half the country is missing?
Well, they're voting for their jobs. It's less than half. It's about, I think they say 34% or something like that. But they all work for the government. So when Trump talks about reorganizing the government, they think, they're going to lose their job because, a lot of us that go down to the DMV or any of these other government job sites, you're treated like crap and nobody knows what in the hell they're doing, and they're just arrogant as hell and stupid. A lot of them, not all of them. But, that's why they vote that way, because they're arrogant and they're voting for what they consider their own self-interest above the country. But the fact is, I say once they figure out that the Democrats have taken their retirement and their benefits away because they sent it to Ukraine, they're going to be really pissed. And then they'll be Trump supporters, too.
Do you think the Elon Musk, I mean, boy, they're after that guy. Do you think the Elon,
if Trump doesn't win, they're gonna take down Elon, number one. He's their big enemy because he's for freedom of speech. And of course, two things I say facts hate is, one, dialogue, and two, humor.
Mm-hmm. They always have.
True.
They always have.
Yeah.
The idea that if Trump doesn't win, I think we're looking at a time, if he wins, the mainstream media, I think, is over because there won't be a government to save them and bail them out, and they've lost everything. If she wins,
I know, and that's great. That is great.
I know.
Because then the people, an actual journalist about the country, will replace it. And it already has with the Joe Rogan thing. I told Joe, congratulations, you killed the legacy media, and that needed to happen.
He did. However, if she wins, I think we're doomed. I think
if she wins, I will reference the movie that I reference, and everybody should watch Planet of the Apes. It's a very popular movie, but it's about a militarized police force that comes and locks you up for saying the wrong thing. That's what it's basically about. It's about fascism. And if she wins, number one or two, there'll be another lockdown. There'll be a lockdown.
Yeah.
Because they've got to get their ducks in a row for what they're doing, which is siphoning public money and putting it into private pockets. That's what they're about. That's what Marxism is. And I wish people would understand that. I ran as a socialist in 2012 to see for myself, because I lived on a socialist state, Hawaii, and us farmers, we tried to get Monsanto the hell out of there with their Roundup. Well, that's what spurred me on to see how a socialist state what it does. And what it did was, when I was studying about, how we were going to grow organic and heirloom crops there, because I was, I'm a farmer there. And so it was about Roundup and Monsanto and everything. So I said, wait a minute, this is a socialist state. And I gave this speech. This is a socialist state. So, of course, the state would be about protecting the health of children, right? So they definitely did some studies on the effect of Roundup on the children of Hawaii. And so, I searched, and you know what? There wasn't one study, and I said that this state this state of the people has not done one study about the long-range term, effects of the KT of this island, and they just freaked out. But I said, this is what it is. When the state owns the universities, and when Monsanto becomes part of the state and funds the universities, you're not going to get any studies about what Roundup does to your kids. Hello, there you go, right there. And it was like I wanted to see for myself how things work on the left, because I already had my suspicions, because to me, as a socialist all those years, the only thing I kept on hearing is how we have to kill all the Jews in Israel. That's what happened while I was a leftist. And when I was a leftist with my parents, who were leftists, socialists, it never was that. Then everybody was pro the Jewish people getting, access back to their, their homeland. And they were called the indigenous of Palestine at that time. They had all this stuff they've turned around because they just rewrite everything. Like Monsanto rewrites all the rules of science so that you don't actually have a control group, which is the entire basis of science.
It's amazing to me how really the conservatives and liberals have switched places on almost everything.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, it's crazy how we're not with the big business. They are. We're not for big war. Yeah. They are. We're
not for forced injections by, people that are headquartered in Germany. Hello. I'm telling you.
I know. Roseanne, it's good to talk to you. Happy birthday.
Thank you so much. I'm 72, and now I feel like I can really do everything I want finally.
That's great. So, great.
I've put a lot of my energy to try to save our country, and I'm not going to quit. And my prayer is that everybody wakes up, that God wakes them up whether they want to be woke up or not, and they will just listen to what I'm saying, because I think I'm very smart, and that they will vote for Trump. Thank you, Glenn.
Thank you. God bless you, Roseanne. Thanks.